Welcome to the ATS podcast with me, Will Brown, and John Soulsby, where we break down chunks of health and fitness information into bite sized pieces, remove a bunch of the noise, and just leave what's relevant. Today we are on episode 12. A bit of a fun one, not super practical for a lot of folks. If you are in the industry, this will probably be one for you. The topic for today is best and worst moments in personal training, working as a personal trainer. Uh, but before we get into that, the off topic that we're going into first is why are we personal trainers?
Oh,
It's a good question
this
for
one's
you.
a, yeah, this is a bit deeper for effectively what's my favorite food. Um, but yeah, why are we personal trainers? I suppose we kind of fell into it a little bit to start off with. Like, I don't think either of us really wrote down why we want to be PTs and then started doing it. We just kind of fell into it
As
because we like helping people.
yeah, as someone who almost unanimously tried every excuse in the book to not go to PE in school, it's a bit of a 180 career choice for me, I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose sitting down and thinking about it, for me personally, I enjoy helping people get to where they want to be in a physical setting. I
Mm,
feel like that's where the because we're kind of coaching people. Well, there's no kind of we are coaching people, and I like giving people the tools to get to where they want to go. I really enjoy teaching people new things, and just my background has always been a very like physical one. Like I always have really enjoyed physical activity, so it's I suppose a very natural fit.
whereas I am the opposite. I have unanimously hated physical activity.
Yeah.
the Yeah, I used to participate in sport. Participate being the operative word. In school, I got a bit more into it as I got a bit older. I mainly got into lifting weights because of a friend who, in school, like high school, kind of took me along to a couple of sessions, and I very much got hooked on the. How do I want to say this? The the fact that in the gym you still and always will have the ability to facilitate change with pretty much nothing but graft. Like you don't need money. You obviously need a bit for paying for a gym membership, but like you can do it without it. We've done fucking episodes on that. Like
Yeah.
the only thing you need to facilitate life-changing circumstances in terms of physical health and appearance is graft. And it's like probably one of the few places that still exists and has no foreseeable like chance of ending.
Yeah, you'll realistically never be able to change that. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, biology works. So,
yeah, and it's like that is so like we joke that like the kind of clickbaity nature of social media and content engagement in this kind of day and age, the meme of this one weird trick has been applied to pretty much everything except the thing that actually is the one weird trick that does literally change your life, which is lifting weights and
yeah,
exercising. Like specifically lifting weights just because the difference in body composition and also like general mental health from gaining a whole bunch of muscle is just way different. Like, yeah, you can cardio exercise and get runner's high, although if you believe that's a thing, like you pretty much might as well believe in aliens. I think runner's misery is pretty much all I've experienced. But
yeah,
but like the change in your physical appearance when you really slap on a whole heap of muscle mass is wild. Like people in your close family look at you weird. Like they think something is wrong with you. You show up to Christmas one year and they're like, what the hell happened to you?"
yeah,
Like all that like and the fact that that's like the last like it is essentially like the American dream but actually like doable.
yeah.
Like
That's much deeper than my answer of I like training.
I also like training. I think I like it mostly for, yeah, I do like it mainly for that kind of transient thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's that
I think
really,
especially for you is like you actually found the physical activity you enjoy is a key like side aspect of that. Like I think school can be really bad if you don't fit into like the pre-set football, rugby, hockey in Scotland. Um, then you're kind of just you have to turn up to PE and do a different sport each week, and off you go.
yeah, like the, it's also, it's like, it allows you to do stuff that is really difficult. Obviously, if you're in any way inclined towards fitness related memes, you might have seen big Kyriakos Grizzly, that very large Greek man, screaming whilst he's doing some really weird lifts. And he has been quoted to say he trains for the difficult, which, on one level, is just a meme, but on the other is quite profound, because that is essentially all you are training for. Like, it is. I mean, also, like, put any other, like, person who pretty much has an unhealthy relationship with fitness on there, of like, I don't know, Dave Goggins, Cameron Haynes, like any of those fucking dudes that
Pretty hard.
just run. Any one of those dudes that's just like, Ken, what I'm gonna do today? Run 100 miles. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you do you.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you have this ability to test and challenge yourself in a way that will elicit change and like physically make you grow. Uh, and it has absolutely no minimum barrier to entry, pretty much. Like,
Yeah. I
it's kind
think
of wild.
in the barrier to entry aspect, like as much as he's a complete psychopath, Goggins is a really good example of that. Of just like one day it was like, nah, screw this, and just ran,
Yeah,
and
and sucked
that
at it.
completely changed his life.
Yeah, sucked at
Oh,
it for
sucked it,
ages.
but like he did it like every day, or I can't remember the exact, but like sucked at it, did it every day until he was good at it, and just grafted, and now he's an absolute like freak.
Yeah, like I don't know. I've thought about when my headspace changed, but like I feel like having lifted for so long that I can't really remember like what it was like to not lift. Like at this point I feel like I've lifted for more of my life than I haven't lifted.
Yeah,
Almost. Like I started at
I
like
suppose.
almost, actually no, it's almost halfway. I started at maybe like 16 and I'm 30, I'm
Yeah,
32, so it's maybe dead on
so bang
50%.
on happy. But then I suppose given the previous 50% was 1 to 16, it doesn't really count either.
Yeah,
Like
I didn't really have much of an option until I got to about
yeah,
double digits at least.
yeah, two can make your own choice to do it.
Yeah. And like, oh fuck, I dropped my point. I got distracted. Yeah, I don't know, but like it also seems to come like I genuinely in my head there are very few things, or like obviously ones that are physical impossibilities, but there's almost nothing I'm like, oh, maybe I can't do that.
Mhm.
I just don't know if the gym has some sort of like weird fucking North Korean conditioned my brain just to be like, absolutely anything is possible if you just graft a ton at it. And I'm just like, well, I guess that's true.
I mean, it pretty much is, I suppose. I think.
I don't think I've yet to be. Obviously, I'm not gonna like be 7 feet tall. That's physically impossible. I
Yeah,
am done growing unless I add stilts. Like,
yeah,
not happening. Um, not gonna run 10 seconds cause I am way past prime for an aerobic sporting performance that would rival an Olympic gold medalist.
yeah.
If I had a chance,
But
it is gone.
but yeah, I think it's things like for like my personal example then for like just doing something based on graft is like 3 years ago, classic weightlifter, didn't really do much cardio. And then through cycling in lockdown and finding it, literally cycled 132 kilometers in 5 hours, which is just like kind of mind blowing in the fact that I actually even finished that.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff where like, but it applies like it goes to loads of things. Like I'm pretty sure we even talked about this when we started the business. We were like, based on the numbers, we kind of like loosely graphed out like the average GDP in Edinburgh and how much we would need to make to like to pay ourselves a decent wage. And we were like, that would be this many clients if we charged this. And we were like, are there that many people who we reckon could pay for PT? And we were like, well, yeah, there's loads. I mean, number one, there's an obesity
Tons, eh?
problem, so there's tons of people that don't even go to the gym at all. So that's a great market to tap into. And number two, there's a bunch of like people who already do PT, but probably don't like commercial gyms as much as we don't like commercial gyms. So I guess we could probably make this work. Like,
Yeah.
there was never any like, oh, this maybe won't work. Like, we were just pretty much convinced from the get-go that we could make it work.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a massive white privilege flex. Who knows?
Yeah, or we're just completely ignorant how it.
Yeah, but then again, I think that's good. I think it's quite good to just be a little bit stupid, like stupid enough that
Yeah.
you just ignore the things that are saying it probably won't work and just bullhead and get on with it.
Yeah.
That's it. 2022. People need to be dumber. Let's go. It's our official message. I honestly fucking just about fucking laughed really loud in the cinema when we were watching fucking Top Gun 2, and the whole like the strapline in that movie is. Have you seen it? So like,
No.
fucking big Tom Cruise, the ageless stem cell wonder, returns and is meant to be coaching. Spoiler alerts for Top Gun 2, if you care. Is meant to be coaching the kid of the dude of his old flying partner who died like
Yep.
on in the first film.
R.I.P. Goose.
R.I.P. Goose. So his kid is in Top Gun, and Tom Cruise is meant to be coaching him, and the kid is classically, essentially overthinking, worried about risk, and throughout the fucking film, Tom Cruise is like, "Don't think, just do," and I'm like, I am annoyed because everyone's gonna think I stole this from this film, but it's not. It was just something stupid I used to say, like, stop
Yeah.
thinking about it, just do it, like. Oh dearie me. I haven't even answered the off topic. Why am I a PT? Essentially helping people facilitate change. Like the what is it? Like the Ratatouille moment for me is when, if you get that reference, well done. Is when someone who has essentially kind of given up and is completely convinced that there's nothing they could do about their body composition, their circumstances, like their fitness, whatever. Like they are convinced that they are just kind of stuck this way, and as much as they are engaging in the behavior of getting a PT and going, maybe even going to the gym, but just getting a PT, they're not really sold. They are essentially just doing it because they think they have to. But when you actually like kind of put the ball in their court and give them the tools to like change in a way that they are like, oh my god, like it is possible. Like it is genuinely like that bit in the Matrix where he's like, there is no spoon. Like they actually realize like their potential and the fact that they can control all of these things. They just needed a combination of like support, information, and like someone to actually give a shit enough and like help them.
Yeah.
And that pretty much sells it. Like that kind of stuff just keeps me going. Like a lot of PT is kind of, not gonna lie, it's kind of boring. Like training is not a roller coaster experience. You essentially are just doing kind of like mildly difficult stuff that you probably don't want to do most of the time. Or
Yeah.
like, and just doing it day in day out because it nets you a much bigger gain later. But when you're in it, every single session isn't going to be like a world destroyer. It's not going to be full of PBs. It's not going to be the most exciting stuff. It's just like eating your vegetables and brushing your teeth, really.
Yeah. Pretty boring.
Yeah, but the outcomes are fantastic.
Yeah.
The topic is best and worst moments in PT. I've kind of covered that, honestly. Like that.
Yeah.
That one is there.
I think the outcome of people actually finally realizing that they can kind of do whatever they want or have the tools to like help themselves get towards all their goals is kind of when they fully realize that is great.
Yeah, I had another one the other day. Was coaching a kid and his dad, and like having just seeing like a kid who's into lifting weights, like at 16 or something and just having a good laugh, like training,
Yeah.
like lifting weights, like actually paying, like kind of paying attention, like asking decent questions and stuff like that, just being genuinely curious about it and stuff. I was like, this is dope. Like, youth training's another one that's like really rewarding because you feel like you have, I mean, you hope at least you have some kind of like moderate impact in being like maybe a small influence on that person's like future development.
Yeah. I don't know, one's of slightly different, but same kind of vein of a newer client recently, and literally we're like 2 weeks in, and already they've said that we've like completely changed their impression of what going to a gym is, and there's the like stigma that you, what was it, the way they put it? It's like the no pain, no gain like theory of training, of like you have to be absolutely thrashed every single time. And you're like, no, you just do this stuff like a lot and you're good.
Yeah, there's like a time and a place for really hard stuff, and that probably isn't as often as you would think.
No.
Like it's very specifically applied in appropriate situations. I
Worse.
mean, do we have worst ones? Oh yeah, worst ones.
I do.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Taxes. I hate doing them.
Yeah, taxes
Not
suck.
because they're theft. Stop. No, none of you conspiracy theory nuts. Nah, just
Hashtag.
HMRCs. They're shite.
Yeah, they are.
Do the paperwork's pish, and none of the titles ever are the same.
I saw a good meme of that where it was like someone asking, like, it was American, so it was the IRS, but it's still the same. Of like, it's like, oh, can I, like, how much? Can you not just tell me like how much I owe you, and then I'll just pay it? They're like, nah, you have to work that out for yourself. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, but like, how will you know it's right? And he's like, oh no, we already know how much you owe. We know that at all points. And he's like,
Yep.
okay, but why do I have to work it out? It's like, you just do. Okay, but what if I'm like a little bit wrong just because I'm not really good at maths? Oh, well, then you're going to jail. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, very good, very good.
I think that's much more of an American problem, but yeah, it does feel a bit like that. Or it's just like, what if I put like the wrong thing in the wrong box? You're like,
Yeah, nothing makes you second guess yourself more than that little box at the end being like, to the best of your ability, do you think that these are completely
Yeah.
legal and correct accounts? And you're like, oh.
in fairness, I love that box because I'm like, yes, I could truthfully say to the best of my knowledge and ability, I think this is correct.
Y'all assuming my ability is any more than zero. Bye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
HMRC.
I'd also like do all the software stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, here's this column. Oh, this doesn't actually appear in the HMRC spreadsheet. Oh no, where do I put this? Brilliant. Half an hour down a rabbit hole to find out where this goes.
Yep. What's another worst moment in PT? Weirdly, I don't say is it a worst moment? It's definitely uncomfortable, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. People sometimes think it is. I don't think it is. But a lot of people will essentially treat PT like discount therapy, which is fine. But you do get a lot of TMI moments, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm fine with you sharing that, but fuck me, I don't think my day needed that. You get into some. To be fair, a lot of them have led to like interesting topic discussions. Like, again, when you start out, I mean, like it is definitely a bit of an awakening. Put it like when you are, what year is it? 20? Like, how am I? 32. When you're like, yeah, like early 20s. Let's be fair, you're still not a fully grown human. You're still a bit of a fucking idiot. But
Yeah.
like an adult female client goes into great detail about their menstrual cycle, which is completely relevant and important information to know. But when
And
you're a
should
bit
be
of,
able to do it.
yeah, but when you're a fresh-faced 20-year-old that knows absolutely fucking nothing about it, it's a bit of a cold water jump. You're just like like, oh my god. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Panic.
Yeah, exactly. Panic stations alert. You're just like, oh my god, I don't know what any of this means.
You're literally that fucking dog meme with the room on fire.
Yeah, you are. You're like, this is fine. But I mean, one big tip for being PT, which is actually going to be our next podcast topic, so I'll save it for then. But those have been our best and worst moments in PT. We will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.